Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2539 Using You to Establish Authority 1. Jeang E glanced at everyone present. These were important figures who could change the future landscape of the entire planet Earth. Almost every one of them wielded an influence, no less than that of Jinglu. But now, Jeang E simply gives them a calm and polite smile. That smile held no contempt, only a calmness, as if he had already seen the scene 5 seconds in advance. "Feel sorry." He nodded and said calmly, "I was delayed on the way, so I'm a little late." Chaos. King Arthur had already stood up, his face full of excitement, but he still couldn't help but say to Jeang E, "You've finally arrived." He felt that if Jeang E had arrived earlier, the pressure they were under would not have been so great. To be honest, King Arthur and the others even wondered if Jeang E might not come this time. After all, the Huashu kingdom itself was strong enough to stand up to an ancient civilization of mid to lower strength. Why should they get involved in this mess? Fortunately, he still came. "There's a bit of traffic on the road," Jeang E said jokingly, his eyes squinting, making it impossible for anyone to find fault with him. However, Jeang E actually arrived earlier than they had expected. He's just been watching this place, without showing himself, hidden in the spatial interlayer, silently observing everything. That's what he said to Yang Xinshin and the others. It would be better to wait a little longer. It's better to offer help in times of need than to add flowers to brocade. Only when they truly see you in their most difficult times will they understand your value. That's human nature. Things that are too easily obtained are often not cherished. Are you sure you're not deliberately waiting for an opportunity to show off in front of others? Yang Xinshin replied softly, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. "You know perfectly well the transformative power of drama on people's hearts. It also contains this ingredient." Jeang E shrugged. "But the most important thing is that we don't want our trump cards to be cheaply used up in the excitement. Let them remember the chill of today first, and then remember how much help we've given them." So now, Jeang E's appearance is perfectly timed. To be honest, he didn't have a very good relationship with Morgan and others. In the past, they were even competitors fighting to the death. They're only standing together because of shared interests. However, we must also make them realize their place. That way, when the negotiations end and the benefits are divided among the 6 generations, he can get the lion's share. Gu Shan of the ironclad clan snorted coldly, his heavy breastplate humming. To be late for such an important negotiation, the arrogance of the 6th generation of humans is truly disgusting. Jeang E glanced at his watch, a tick silently passing across the ancient dial beneath his eyes. How could that be? I arrived just in time. Morgan and others. Jeang E's appearance attracted everyone's attention. The 3 snake-face members of the 3-headed clan whispered simultaneously. The 1,000-handed clan representative raised 2 pairs of arms and clasped them together, and the Titan giant draped in rock skin stepped forward, his gaze sweeping over the members. It's clear that they are familiar with the name Chaos, but they prefer to verify firsthand the overlap between rumors and reality. After all, many of them had been secretly spying on humans on land for the past 5 years. The representative of the Rat clan sized up Jeang E with a sinister look, his heart filled with horror. Several years ago, Jeang E Yuan, who stormed into Kyoto, was not as powerful as he is now. But right in front of them, he also obliterated the god of the sun, Shinmura. The representatives of the Rat clan who appeared here today are the other 2 of the 3 pillar gods, Amanamimini Kanushi and Takamamusu Hikami. They stared coldly at Jeang E's figure, without uttering a word, secretly observing him. Jeang E was active in almost every major battle, and his performance was outstanding, making it hard not to pay attention to him. Su Nian grinned as she watched them talk, like a restless wild dog patiently waiting for its master to bring it the plate, yet ready to overturn the table at any moment. All right? He extended his paw and made an exaggerated gesture of please. The strongest of the sixth generation, can you give me a little surprise? Or let me have a good meal? Jeang E's gaze fell on his dental arch. His teeth are very sharp. He looks like a bloodthirsty race. Su Nian sneered. Of course. Our Fong Wolf clan believes in the law of the jungle. He twisted his neck and beckoned Jeang E with his sharp wolf claws. I didn't get enough of a fight just now. You, the strongest of the sixth generation, come and spar with me. Jeang E's hands hung naturally at his sides, his tone gentle, as if he were talking to a troublesome child. I know what you want to do, nothing more than to solve the problem in one fell swoop. In order to prevent our fight from being too clumsy, I have two small suggestions. Su Nian raised an eyebrow with amusement. Go on. First, let's go a little further away. Jeang E raised his finger and pointed into the distance. Don't mess this up, because it will affect everyone's negotiations. Second, Jeang E looked at Su Nian, his eyes narrowing slightly with a hint of warning. If you lose, I want you to apologize for what you said before, that the sixth generation of humans is weak. A low chuckle came from the foreign tribe's seats. Gu Shan snapped his knuckles together. An interesting fellow. The World Tree Clan said softly, your demeanor is admirable. You wanted to save the day single-handedly, knowing it was impossible. But a building on the verge of collapse cannot be supported by a single tree. Okay, as long as you can defeat me, I'll agree to your conditions. Su Nian took a step forward, her claws leaving a series of shallow white marks on the stone platform with a crackling sound. But is your strength sufficient? Jeang E simply smiled faintly. He then turned his head and spoke to the human seating area, his voice still calm and composed. Just do what you're supposed to do. I'll take this city first and establish my authority for 6 generations. Morgan and the others looked at Jeang E with burning gratitude in their eyes, nodding slowly as if they were looking at hope. After giving his instructions, Jeang E and Su Nian exchanged a glance. Then, Su Nian's body transformed into a fierce storm and disappeared in an instant. Jeang E smiled faintly, and a dimensional gate opened in front of him. He took a step out and surpassed Su Nian. Su Nian's eyes narrowed slightly. He calculated that Jeang E's spatial traversal distance was about 3 kilometers. Is the displacement distance 3 kilometers? No, this guy might be holding back. Or it might be farther. So, it should be a displacement distance of 4 kilometers. 2 figures left one after the other, arriving on the vast and boundless Australian continent. Australia is mostly plains and very vast. In the past, it was the best farm and pasture, but now it has become an excellent battlefield. The atmospheric creatures of the celestial race spent light and used the clouds as projectors to project the battle between the two onto the clouds above the scene, so that everyone could clearly see everything that was happening. The dimensional gate, like a narrowed pupil, slowly closed, merging the 3,000 transparent petals into one, leaving the clamor behind and pushing the silhouettes of the two people towards a distant line where the sea and sky meet. Whispers rose from the human seats. Some were praying, some were worried, and some were holding their breaths down to the shallowest possible depth, too nervous to breathe deeply. Chapter 2540. Then establish your authority too. Will chaos win? Someone asked dryly. He at least gave us hope of victory. The only knight among 6 generations of humans, he carried too much on his shoulders, King Arthur replied. That's enough. At this point, King Arthur suddenly sighed. Even if he lost, we have no right to criticize him. The celestial clan's cloud pillar trembled slightly, as if assessing the impending collision. The armored warrior's shoulder armor flared out and then retracted, as if unconsciously on guard. Dewdrops rolled gently on the leaves of the World Tree Warriors, forming a new line of patterns. Watch the battle closely. See just how strong this so-called strongest among the 6 generations really is. If Jeang E also suffers a crushing defeat, then the 6th generation of humans will be completely at a disadvantage in this negotiation. At that time, we may really lose a lot of territory and even the vast majority of the population will be wiped out. On the plains of the Australian continent, wild grasses still grow tenaciously on the ground. The climate here is not so cold, and green grass can still be seen. The two are a good distance apart. The wind blew across the vast grassland, and it also blew across the two of them. Jeang E, clad in the jet-black armor of the End Demon God, hovered in midair, exuding an awe-inspiring presence like a ghost or god, the armor emanating a faint black aura. That was the resentment of millions of dead souls of the Wulwan clan. Within the black mist, there was a faint red glow, devoid of any bloody stench, but rather a warm feeling. That was the power of faith that had been obtained from the entire Huashu kingdom during this period, with the support of the high-level officials of the 6 major regions. It doesn't have the same intense faith as Tantric Buddhism, but it's still very solid. As soon as he landed on the black reef near the sea, Sun Yan's back trembled slightly. His claws gripped the rock surface, and a powerful alien energy enveloped his entire body. The light radiating from the energy quickly shone brightly. "Are you ready, Chaos?" Jeang E simply waved to him. "I'll give you a chance to make the first move. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't have a chance." Arrogant, Sun Yan's figure suddenly swayed and dissipated as if turning into smoke. That wasn't an ordinary burst of speed. It was a speed so fast that even light couldn't react in time. Muscles and bones rolled beneath the skin like a swarm of snakes, and in the next instant, they transformed into a cold, white straight line, heading straight for Jeang Yi's throat. Boom. A power user with an enhancement type ability index of 52,000 points, when unleashed at full power, he is a human Tsar Bomba. The force of the impact alone is enough to shatter a mountain. Jeang E didn't move at all, but simply raised his eyes with a smile. The second hand of time. The dial deep within his left pupil was gently tapped, and for the next 5 seconds it was as if someone had drawn an extremely fine silver line under his eye. The first step of his long-cherished wish, the second step, the angle of his waist turn, the timing of his jaw clenching, the amplitude of his tailbone swing, and even how many grains of sand he would kick up when his toes crushed the reef surface in the 3.5 seconds. Jeang E saw everything. He didn't try to dodge at all, but just watched as Sun Yan approached. As he approached the dimensional gate of all things, he suddenly bared his bloody fangs and bit down on the dimensional gate. Snap! Jeang Yi's seemingly unbreakable dimensional gate shattered with a single bite. Shattering Bite is a finishing move that can destroy all abilities. Time rewinds to 5 seconds ago. Sun Yan stared at Jeang E, his fangs bared menacingly, and asked, "Are you ready, Chaos?" Certainly. This time, Jeang E did not give Sun Yan the opportunity to launch the first attack. As soon as he finished speaking, the fingertips of his right hand trembled slightly, as if his muscles were twitching naturally. Dimensional String Solution. This move had no dazzling energy radiation, no sound, and no sign of any energy explosion. The space felt as if a string had been quietly pulled away, as if a crucial fulcrum had suddenly been lost. Sun Yan's figure passed through the unseen part of that string, and with a sh sound, a line was neatly cut open from the shoulder to the abdomen on the chest of her battle suit. The blood first appeared like a string of red beads hanging from the end of the broken thread, and then, in the momentum of running, it was drawn by the wind into a striking red flower. Sun Yan's steps abruptly stopped, and his wolf eyes narrowed sharply. He looked down at the thin slit that was almost touching his heart. If it had gone in half an inch deeper, it would have killed him. The ferocity in Sun Yan's eyes had completely transformed into shock and astonishment. What happened? Without a sound or warning, he, with an ability index as high as 52,000 points and astonishing defensive power, was actually severely injured. The injury was not surprising, but what was surprising was that he had no idea how he got injured. They had no idea how the other side launched the attack. This is bizarre. Far too bizarre. His previous arrogance vanished suddenly, and it was only because his strong instincts for danger triggered a muscle reaction that he managed to dodge. He was already dead from that one blow. At that moment, A collective gasp of astonishment rippled through the negotiating table, both on and off the stage, becoming remarkably clear in the sea breeze. Morgan's hands were bulging with veins, his face flushed with barely suppressed excitement and shock. He's even stronger than he was on the moon. He can't even withstand a single blow from a night-level opponent. King Arthur whispered, "It's so clean it doesn't even feel like a battle anymore. This guy has left us far behind." The Senju clan representative's 6 hands simultaneously loosened and clenched. What an interesting 6th generation. No, a truly respectable and powerful individual. He frowned slightly, glanced at Morgan not far away, and felt a pang of regret. Why isn't Jeang E, a genius, their partner? Sun Yen touched the blood on his chest, and suddenly, his smile became even more ferocious. Haha, interesting. You really are the strongest. Instead of retreating, his fury intensified. The ferocity of his enhanced abilities completely suppressed the pain. Despite the seemingly serious injuries, the body's enhanced self-healing ability allows it to regrow even severed limbs, as long as it isn't instantly killed. He had a warning about Jeang E's abilities and vowed not to fall for his tricks again. The wolf crouched low, its limbs bulging with muscles, and then erupted in unison. Boom! His speed increased even further, so fast that only a wisp of distorted air could be seen with the naked eye. He began to change his rhythm, moving in a serpentine pattern, zigzagging and thrusting motions, his movements so cunning it was like threading a needle through an invisible net. No matter how you launch your attack, as long as I'm fast enough, your eyes won't be able to follow me. Your attacks will naturally fail to hit me. Sun Yen narrowed his long, wolf-like eyes, trying to find a weakness in Jeang E through this method. Here we ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive. Thanks.